All right, so today we're talking about toxicology and what you can do ones with a degree in toxicology. We have Dr. Concheiro-Guisan and Dr. Cheng giving the talk today. So with that, they're both the coordinators for the toxicology major at John Jay. And with that, I will let them take the lead.
Okay, so I think I will start first. Yes, so let me bring out the slide we have here so I can share the slide with you guys. I believe she let me share. So, okay, where's my slides? Right over here. Yeah, can you guys see my slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so today I'm very happy to share with you about the toxicology major at John Jay. And like the Gabby says, we both of is the major coordinator for this major. And then so I want to let you know is toxicology undergraduate toxicology major in whole United States. We only have probably 12 or 13 of the program. Okay, so it's not a lot of school has this major. So this is very unique. And also I think it's the major, this is developing because a lot of the industrial, in that of the academic, they all need this kind of people. They understand the toxicology, okay, to work with them. So now I want to, before we talk about the major requirement and Dr. Concheiro later on, she will share with you about the career. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about what is the toxicology. Toxicology is like what we conversation before. It's really is applied science. And this is kind of, we study the adverse effect, the side effect of the chemicals on our living organism. So if the chemical, the toxin is not affecting our body, human being, pets, animals, then we don't care because it's not toxic. So we care is the adverse effect of these chemicals. They can cause some kind of the problem, damage to our body, to our pets, and then we will need to understand how they do, what happened, why, how much. So that is the toxicology. We study the side effect. Okay, and then usually when we talk about the side effect of toxicology, so we always think about its concentration, how much of this compound in our body for how long. So I always told students need to be focused on how much, how long. That's always question you will ask before, and then try to understand the toxicity later. All right, so the modern toxicology, we use different kind of tool to do the study. So for the forensic tox, we use a lot of analytical skills, analytical chemistry skills. So you use instrument, identify, quantify the drugs in our body. And for the toxicology, the pharmacological toxicology field, we use the molecular, cellular biology techniques and also biochemistry techniques to study the mechanism of the toxin. So we want to see what happened to our body. Is DNA damage? Is because the receptor blocking? So that is why this is kind of combined with combined biology, knowledge, chemistry, biochemistry. Even sometimes you need the organic chemistry, also physical chemistry. So it's kind of all together integrate for this major. All right. So now the toxins, where you can find all these toxins everywhere, actually. It's really everywhere. The food, the French fry you eat, okay, could have some toxin in there. Also the water you drink, the deep sea fish. We have worry about mercury issue. The air we breathe in, some of the old house, they may have lead in the air, okay, the dust, the air dust. Okay, and then also there's some kind of drug, the medicine. Recently has some recall about the diabetics medicine. They find out there is a contaminant in there. It can cause cancer. So, and that all, besides that, also the abusive drugs. A lot of the problem is about marijuana, cocaine, and then so this all is everything we can study. Even at the household, the detergent could be toxic. Also the bleach could be toxic. So everything we need to study to understand this toxicological profile. Okay, so that's why I say this is applied science. And then, so after you have this degree, what you will work? You will work for the pharmaceutical company. You could work for the chemical manufacturer company. So I have a friend, she worked for the cosmetic company. And then, so it's nice, you can get a discount price for cosmetic. Yeah, but of course, kind of inspire a little bit, so, but that is fine. Okay, so they can work for the pharmaceutical company, and they can work for academia. Okay, they can work as a research assistant and can also be teaching, like Marta, Dr. Concheiro and I did. And then also you can work for the government. The government also need the people understand the toxicology. I have a student graduate with toxicology major, work for the Department of Housing. So this student will go to the house, the building, to collect the air sample and water sample for testing. And then also, if you have a PhD, you may be able to work for EPA, FDA, and NIH. Okay, of course, you can work for the consulting agents. They will also need people understand toxicology. So you can see this unique field. Yeah, not a lot of field you can work for the government, pharmaceutical company. So this toxicology majors, the student majoring is later on they can work in this from industrial, pharmaceutical, and academic, and also government, different kinds of settings. Okay, so how you prepare it? Okay, how you prepare going into this kind of career? So first, you will need to they take some strong program in the sciences. So you make sure you study biology, you make sure you study chemistry, and also study the math. Of course, here point out statistics. It's critical, it's become requirement that you need to understand the statistics. And then also beside that, if you can, you should have the research. If you can find a research opportunity inside the John Jay, outside the John Jay. So try your best to enlarge of your portfolio, to have a research opportunity, get some kind of travel award, present your presentation, present your research project. Okay, so this is how you prepare yourself. All right, so at Dr. Concheiro later on, we'll talk about a career in toxicology. An overview is the how about here, let me see. Okay, all right, so I will talk about a major in toxicology major at John Jay now. And then, so first I want to let you, as you know, we have 3 different science major at John Jay. One is forensic science, one is the cell molecular biology, and one is toxicology. Okay, and then these 3 majors we have all have about 66 to 76, a lot of credit. Okay, so that's why, you need to start this program early. Okay, and then for the forensic science, we have 3 different tracks: criminalistics, molecular biology, and toxicology. So you were wondering what is different between the toxicology track underneath forensic science and toxicology major. The forensic toxicology track underneath the forensic science is more focused on the quantitation and also identification and quantitation of abusive drugs. Use the instrument and then to do that kind of analysis. For the toxicology major, we focus on different stuff. We focus on is the pharmacological effect of the drugs, and we focus on mechanism of these drugs. And also we want to focus on some kind of regulation about it. So there's different kind of focus, and they all can bring you to the toxicology field in the future. Okay, and then so here, this is 3 major in my department, and we have designed it for you. It's like you want to switch a major, is still possible, because forensic science major, cell molecular biology major, and tox major, they all require 1 year of biology 103 and 104, 1 year of chemistry 103 and chemistry 104, 1 year of organic chemistry 201 and 202. The difference is here is the calculus. For the CMB and the toxicology major, both of them only require calculus 1. But for the forensic science, you will require calculus 1 and 2. All right. And then also difference is the physics. The physics for the cell molecular biology major and toxicology major, you required is the physics 102, 101, 102. Okay, of course you can take 103, 104, that's fine. Okay, but however, for the forensic science, it's the 203, 204. You need to do it. And then, so in order to take the physics 203, 204, you need to have calculus 2. So that's why calculus 2 is required for forensic science. And over here, we point out is the cell molecular biology. This class is co-course for CMB major, but it's elective for the tax. Okay, quantitative analysis is required for the forensic science, but can be elective for tax. So all this class, if you take it, you can always switch to tax major. All right, so this is the beauty of this design, because you can really, you feel like later you like toxicology, you can transfer to toxicology, and so you can change to each other as long as you meet the requirement. And then after the 2 years, okay, then what you do, when you move up, you will need the biochemistry. Okay, remember we need to use the biochemical technique to do the toxicity analysis. And also you need to know the human physiology, because it's drugs, toxin affecting our body. So we need to know how they're affecting our body. So the human physiology is key. You need to understand that. And also the statistic we mentioned it before. And then after that, you have a whole bunch of tax 313, 425, 426, and 430. This is a very cool course for tax major. So it will give you the basic concept and the more advanced knowledge about toxicology. Besides that, because we understand the research is key important. So we have a capstone, FOS 402 and FOS 401. I will talk about that later. Okay. And then beside this core course, you have the electives. So elective is broaden your interest. So we have two categories. So one group is called toxicology elective. The other one is the biochemistry elective. So toxicology elective depends on what you like. If you like the cell molecular toxicology, you can choose it. So it's more like the mechanism of toxin. If you like to study how they're affecting the DNA, how they're affecting the protein, you choose this one. And then also you have, if you like say, oh, I still want to know about forensic tox, you can choose the introduction to forensic tox. The clinical toxicology is very popular. So it's nowadays you probably, they talk about the COVID vaccine and also talk about all this potential drug to treat the COVID-19. Clinical toxicology, we are heavily need to know about this toxic effect of all the drugs. Okay, so it's very popular class, clinical toxicology. Besides that, we have toxicology and chemistry elective. So you can see the Bio 205 is one of elective, quantitative analysis elective, and anatomy physiology elective, genetic. So we have a different kind of elective you can choose from here. Okay, so the key things how you be successful in this program. Yeah, make sure you have prerequisites. Okay, so this way you won't slow down. And then how do you know you have a prerequisite taken early on, so then you can move up to the next level? Talk to us. Talk to Dr. Concheiro, talk to me, talk to Gabby. Talk to us. Yeah, we are here. We love to talk. Okay, so come make an appointment with us, and then we will explain to you. And I always tell the student, different year, different stage, you have different topic to talk. So don't worry about bothering us. Come talk to us. Okay, and then go to a tutoring center, go to a writing center, get help. You pay for that already. So use that service to make sure you have good GPA, well in for your class. Okay, and do your homework. Okay, this is important. We cannot do it for you, so you must. So that means you need to make a commitment. If this is career you want, you need to make commitment. Okay, and then to study and go to a review section with the professor. Okay, and then the MSRC, I think you probably used that already. If not, this is the information you can take down, and then you can also search the website at John Jay and find it. Make appointment with them. We have very good tutor there. Writing center, you're probably getting the email a lot. So make an appointment with them to learn how to write a scientific paper. Okay, especially in the scientific report is critical. You need to know how to write. All right. So up to this point, I have the final things I want to talk about is the internship. Okay, remember, we also required either FOS 402 or Tax 401. The reason we have that in our curriculum, toxicology is because we know research is important for you guys to get in your feet into a toxicology field. So that's why we have two different kinds of capstone. One is the Tox 401. The other one is FOS 402. Tox 401 is in-class research project. Okay, so you would do the research project in the class at the time, set the schedule time. So you will have a project together for that semester. And usually it's 5 hours per week. For the FOS 402, okay, it's research internship. You will find your research mentor, and you should do that earlier. So probably when you finish your organic chemistry, you should start looking for the mentor. And then, so it requires 280 hours, but most of the students do more than that. They start from the junior year and all the way to the senior year. So this way they can have a really good research project, good data, go to the conference, do a presentation, get a travel award. So all these faculty here, they are very they're actively involving in this undergraduate research. They are there to help you, but you need to take a proactive role to reach out to them, to talk to them. Okay, so the prison program is another very good program. If you have good GPA, believe it's 2.5 or above, you can contact Gabby or Edgardo, join this. It's good program to join. I would strongly recommend you to go there. And besides what I talk about, there's a lot of information, right? Go to the Toxicology major resources page. Go there, you will find all the information you need. If you couldn't find it, don't worry. Dr. Concheiro and I'm here to talk to you, all right? And remember, we love to talk. So email us, all right? Okay, so any questions for me? Or maybe we can wait until the end, right? Okay, so I will turn over this table to the Dr. Concheiro, and she will talk to you about a career in toxicology.
Okay, thank you, Demi. By the way, how do you want to do it? Do you stop sharing and I share the slides, or do you keep moving the slides for me?
It's up to you, yeah. Which way you want. I can move the slide for you. You just tell me.
Maybe it's easier and we don't have to disrupt. Okay, so, yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so hi guys, my name is Professor Concheiro, the short form, or Professor Concheiro-Guisan, the long form, as you wish. So as in being said already by Dr. G and by Dr. Cheng, that Dr. Cheng and myself are the coordinators of the talks major, and now I'm going to continue the talk focusing on the careers, okay, that you guys can do if you take this major. So we have some slides now. Basically, like a summary of the slides we're going to see is that basically I see two things in the slides. One is kind of long-term career goals that you can achieve, and another one is more short-term entry positions that you can get with this bachelor. So in the slides that we have now, we have this pie that you can see that basically half of the jobs that you can get with the tax major are in the industry. And when I say industry, I mean the pharmaceutical companies is a big important part of that, but also we have food-related industry or cosmetics or other kind of industry that requires any chemical or toxicological analysis. So it's a very important part of that, okay? In these environments, you guys will be involved in the development of products, in the evaluation of the safety of the products, and also in regulatory compliance. And you will see in the slide different percentages that are showing that, yes, this is a very important option. Then we have a dark part with the academia that is in black with about 20%. And then we have jobs in the government, in different federal, local, or state agencies as consultant, and then in private research foundations or public research foundations. So we can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So careers in academia. So careers in academia is basically what Dr. Cheng and myself are doing, right? So to end up in a career in academia, normally, before getting there, you had other different positions And normally you also pursue further your education, and not only a master program, normally you need a PhD program, a postdoctoral experience, and then you can access to the academia. It also depends on what role you are going to have there, okay? So in academia, the job is basically instruction, teaching is an important part, but also research, another very important part, okay? So different kind of positions in academia. We have faculty, as we are, lecturer, when you just focus in teaching, and research, when you teaching is not important, but it's much more important the research activity, and postdoctoral fellows, okay? So as I was saying, in this in academia, you really have to like the interaction with the students, because there is always the teaching component, could be in the class or could be in the research environment. And obviously you also need to keep alive your lab, and you need to look for grants and to keep your to look for keeping funds and students in your laboratory to pursue certain goals in research. We can move to the next one, please. We were saying careers in industry, and we were saying before that pharmaceutical companies is a big important part of it, but there are also other kind of industries. And in industry, we are not just talking about lab works, okay? We are also talking about other kind of positions, such as a risk assessment or quality assurance or regulatory kind of job, that it will be kind of more administrative, if you allow me to say. So basically in industry, we can, with this background, you can go to a more lab-oriented kind of jobs, or also as you move in your career in industry, you can move to another kind of positions, okay? But you can see that we have a wide variety. So what is good, because it's a major that it doesn't guide you to a very narrow path. Actually, it's a major that gives you like many options. So you can always think a little bit later what you really want to do, because you can see it offers the different things that you can achieve. Next slide, Demi, please. Then we have careers in contract labs that they will be private labs that they do specific testing for other industries. And this could be for pharmaceutical companies, for food companies, and also for forensic services. And the types of works that are done in these contract labs, we have preclinical testing, we have studies conducted with in USDA approved facilities using the good laboratory practice, and also testing different compounds in vitro and in animal models. So it will be laboratory work that in private settings to serve to other industries. And there is a huge demand in that field, it's true. Another slide, please. So in this, I think this is more like a more detail in when we are talking about the pharmaceutical companies and these preclinical studies that we were saying, and this laboratory work in preclinical studies, because this slide gives you kind of an overview of what happened in the pharmaceutical industry for the development of new medications. So you see that there is the discovery phase that can get a 3 or 5 years, well, and then the development phase that is in 5 to 10 years. So all the toxicology work, it will be more in the development phase. We have a bunch of work in the preclinical, but also in the different phases that we have later in the clinical settings. Also the toxicologists will be involved to do the analytical part and evaluation of the toxic effects. Next slide, please. Yeah, then we have also careers in regulatory affairs. So it will be more, this kind of jobs centered in the development and enforcement of laws to ensure that the chemicals are safe and are safely produced. And these careers in regulatory affairs normally are kind of far away from the wet lab situation. And this could be at local level, at a state level, or a federal level. Next slide, please. When we have also the consulting that we said very briefly when we had our initial pie. The consulting, it will be a kind of job that you need in toxicology to have experience, because then based on your background with your bachelor in toxicology and your work experience, then you can help other labs, other agencies to solve certain issues and get paid for that, of course, okay? But it will be, in the case of consulting, kind of a long-term goal in your career. Next slide, please. Well, let's see numbers about the market, okay? How many toxicologists we have in the US and how many we need. So we can see it in the slide that about 3,500 are employed full-time PhDs in the US and Canada. There are more than 400 PhD positions that are unfilled, because it's estimated that the annual demand for new PhDs in the field is about 200 per year, but normally the supply is 70 per year. So you see that these are good news if you are entering the career in the field, because it looks like there are openings that are not being filled. So then you will have more opportunities for finding a job that it works for you. So over half of the recent PhD students enter the industry. This is in accordance with the pie we were saying before, that most of the half of the position is going to the industry with this formation. And the compensation is good and highly competitive with other biomedical sciences, both in public, academic, or private sectors. Okay, so with this formation, it's always the law of the offer and the demand. So it looks like there is a big demand of people with a profile in toxicology, and we hope that it's going to keep going that way. And this is good news for you guys, because it means that then you will have more offers and probably very well compensated. Next slide, please. So, well, here this and the coming slide, basically the idea that we want to transfer is that pursuing a further education after the bachelor is in general a good idea if this can happen, because will allow you to access to different kind of jobs and move more further in your career. Next slide, please. That, because I was thinking more in the next slide that I was telling you, right? So you can see that the higher the degree you get, the higher the compensation is going to be. Obviously, the compensation in the job is not just because of your academic degree, it's also based on the year of experience, okay? So more years of experience, of course, you are a more educated, trained professional, and your compensation is going to increase as well. So you will see that between bachelor and master's, there is a master's in general is a little bit better than bachelor. What makes sense, you invest more time and more effort in your education, so you move, I would say, faster in that path. But obviously then there is a big gap when we move with the PhD, with the higher education. And then with this and more experience, of course, is when you get the most well-paid jobs in the field. Next slide. So here in the map, we see the geographic distribution of toxicologists in the United States. So in the Northeast, where we are, we have the highest percentage. but it's still is at 33.4%. But you will see that in the south of the country, actually, the percentage are pretty low, as well as in the northwest. And actually, I have different friends in forensic toxicology labs in the south, especially in Texas, in that area, in South Central, that they are having very hard times to find people with toxicological skills to fill the position. So I can see that this percentage that we see in the slides are matching with what is happening. Next slide, please. So this, until now, I was giving you, yes, kind of an overview of the kind of jobs that you guys could look for for making a career in, right? We were saying the academia, we were talking about the industry, being consultant in different regulatory organisms, in the local, state, or federal level, and so on. Okay, but this is. And then even we were talking about like pursuing further education, not stopping in bachelor, going for the master or going for a PhD. Obviously, is going to always, the more the education you get in any field, it's going to open even more doors. And the idea that we want to transfer also that in toxicology is that the thing that we like in our major, that is always a major that we feel open doors. And you, as you can see about the different careers that I was describing, it's not that you just go to a very narrow path. You open many kind of possibilities on the bench, off the bench, and different kind of profiles, okay? And now in the coming slides, I'm going to talk about more entry positions. If you guys graduate now with a BS in toxicology, what kind of jobs you can get right away, okay? So we have the option of the clinical laboratory technologists and technicians. That will be the job of working in a lab, okay? And it could be a clinical lab, could be a forensic lab. And the good news about this is that recently, as you can see in the slides, in December 2019, New York State has changed some rules that they had about the clinical laboratory technologists and technicians in toxicology. And the new rules is that you don't need to get a further education to be that. With a bachelor in toxicology and getting training in a lab, you can get that license. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with this certification issue that we had in toxicology. But if you are not familiar with that, don't worry, because it's not a concern anymore. Now it's pretty straightforward. You get your education, you get a job in a clinical lab, and after 1 year training, you can get this license and move to other laboratories, or keep going in the laboratory you are. Okay, next slide, please. Can you come back? Sorry, maybe I just thought about, yeah, so kind of median pay, you can see is about 50,000 per year. It is also varies. Also, New York City is a very expensive city. It's going to be different from other parts of the country, but the average is this median pay in the 2019. Next slide, please. Then will be more toxicology in the environmental sciences. Then you will see that the median pay in this case is a little bit higher. Environmental sciences are becoming more and more important, as you can, if you keep on watching the news and what is happening with all the pollutants in the environment, the climate change, and so on. More and more analysis are required. So also is another kind of the education that we want to give you in our major, besides the analytical part. I'm sorry, I may sometimes emphasize too much the clinical forensic part because it's what we do, and Dr. Cheng more the mechanistic part because it's what she does. But we cannot forget about the environmental part of toxicology. That is a very strong part, and also is a very good ground to get jobs in that field. Okay, so with your training in toxicology, because as Dr. Cheng was saying in the beginning, we investigate, we study everything that is toxic, not just to us, but also to the environment, microorganisms, and so on. So it's another important piece in our puzzle. And as I said, it's in higher demand, so the salary is a little bit higher in general. And next slide, please. And then it will be jobs in the forensic science, and it will be in the laboratory, the toxicology labs in forensic science. This is around the 60,000 per year, but as I said, it will depend on the agency, it will depend on the lab, and so on. So this is kind of an average. And in this case, it will be also lab jobs. Okay, you will be working in the lab, and in forensic science, we are talking more about analytical part of the job. Next slide, or is the last one? Okay,
the last one.
That's the last one. Okay, so I think, yeah, so I think I've been saying everything that I had in my mind that I wanted to share with you guys. So now it's your turn. So here we are, Dr. Cheng and myself, to answer anything you want to ask us.
And here I also want to point out is, you can see here, this slide is 14%, much faster than average. So that means you will have a lot more position open for this kind of forensic science technician. 8%, we have more job required to be in the environmental scientist, and 7%. So this is kind of job is coming up. Okay, you don't want to have some majoring in something and then you don't have a lot of job there. Okay, so this is kind of one point out. It's the future. The job market is very hot, and then but education you will need it. The bachelor degree you will need to pay. But if you have chance to move up, that would be great. But yes, I will kind of, any question you want to ask Dr. Concheiro?
And if you feel like if you want to ask the question via the chat, I'd be happy to read it on your behalf as well. So.
Do I email Dr. Cheng or Dr. Concheiro if I want to switch to a tox? Because I transferred from QCC and I'm still under forensics. So I want to switch over to toxicology.
Yeah, you can email me. Yeah, so I will send you the declaration form and I will sign it and then send that to the registrar. Yeah, because also somehow I'm also chair of department. Yeah, so I can sign the form. Yeah, because whoever you want to change a major need to come to me. Yeah. So it doesn't matter you change to forensic science, doesn't matter you change to cell molecular biology, all come to me. Yeah. So email me, I will send you the link and you fill the form and then we will work on there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That was very comprehensive. I can't think of a question to ask, but maybe the students have
yeah.
a question.
I know it's a lot to take, yeah. So, but that's okay. If you don't have question, you don't have any question now, but later on, anything you just email us, and then we are happy to be here to answer you.
Yeah, or I don't know, maybe we can ask them if they don't
ask. Yes. Yeah, we will want to know what stage you are in. You are in the sophomore, junior, or in the freshman?
Yeah, so I want to ask actually, so what do tox majors do in the senior year? Do we primarily focus on research at that level after we're done with our classes in the junior year?
For your class, you will finish at senior year. The senior year, you will have a 4 major one. It's the analytical toxicology and analytical toxicology lab, pharmacological toxicology, and also capstone. So that year, yes, a little lighter load, course load, and then for that moment, I always encourage students focus. You can do some research, and then, but don't think about you only have 2 classes. It's easy. No, most of the students they go doesn't matter which major. When they go to the senior, they say, yes, I'm done my instrumental analysis. Yes, I done my biochemistry. yeah, I only have 1 class or 2 class left to be better, easier. No, by the end, they are super busy and they scratch and say, what's going on? Because they need to think about what they need to do next. Okay, and then that is too late. You need to start early. Right now, I think your guys talk to us is perfect because now the moment I talk to the student, the moment you step into the John Jay, you should think about what you want to do after you graduate. So start planning for that. And last year, you were not doing the research only. If you can do the research earlier, last year you will go to a conference. And the conference, the faculty here, we take conference very seriously. So we will push you, practice with you, prepare a poster, prepare an oral presentation, will drive you nuts. But by the end, you will be happy, okay? Because you know it, you can accomplish something very good. And then, but we need you to make the commitment. If you're willing to do it, we are here to help. Okay, so the last year, it's not only doing research, if you find some internship outside, that is also very good. So we encourage you to look behind the, the John Jay, look at some kind of external, internal internship opportunity, research opportunity. Yeah. Okay, maybe Dr. Concheiro has something to add.
Well, I mean, I think you covered most everything, but I mean, basically, it's just to emphasize a little bit why we were talking about the things that we were discussing in this small talk. It was not just, first of all, comparing the Tox major with the other majors in the department to show you guys that there is a huge overlap at the beginning. So at the beginning, if you don't have clear what you want to do, then it's easy to switch from one to another. But as Dr. Cheng was saying, one of the key things to succeed, not just in college, also later on, is to plan ahead. So that's why in this talk, we were also talking about kind of job that you may get if you have a PhD. Of course, now this year in 2020, you guys are not getting a PhD, but you can think about the different options that you have ahead. So maybe start planning, well, so then I will go into enrolling a lab. So then I will start to think what I want to do when I graduate. So basically taking the decision of what major you want to do, keeping in mind of something that will open doors and will allow you to get to get where you want to go. Okay, like using that as a tool that will help you to step and move forward. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to ask, are these classes also available during the summer?
No.
Depends on which one. Biochemistry, yes. Some of elective, yes, but not everything. Okay. So yeah, if you want to know, yeah, make appointment with us and we can talk to you about it. So you have any other questions?
Yeah, I would like to ask a question. I'm in the PRISM Junior Scholar Program right now. So what is the difference with the PRISM PRISM program that Gabriela it's guiding?
Okay, so maybe I can answer that question. Are you asking what the difference is between the Junior Scholars Program and the Undergraduate Research Program?
Yeah.
Okay, so Junior Scholars Program is an academic achievement program. So basically, you go to tutoring, you go to tutoring, you go to workshops, you do a professional advisement session, or you attend one of these, you do the academic advisement, and at the end of every semester, if you complete these requirements, you get a stipend. So it's basically, we are encouraging you and giving you an incentive to do what you should be doing anyway to do well in your courses. The undergraduate research program instead is like the name suggests, a research program. And it's an opportunity for you to experience science outside of the classroom. So it's a faculty mentored research experience, which means that you would be working with a faculty mentor like Dr. Concheiro-Guisan or Dr. Cheng to advance whatever field of science that you're interested in. And you work with them however many hours you agree with your mentor. It could be 6 hours a week, it could be 10 hours a week, it could be 15 hours a week. It depends, right? So it depends on what you and your mentor decide. And in addition to that, you also attend workshops, you write a proposal, and at the end of every year, you present your research at a symposium. So this is more of a professional development activity instead of an academic development activity. And like the junior scholars, you also get a stipend. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you so much. And can we join both of them, or we just have to choose one?
So you would be part of either the junior scholars or the undergraduate research program. However, both programs run under the same office, so you would have access to the same staff, the same administrators. And if you see any junior scholars event that you want to attend and you are part of the undergraduate research program, you can attend the junior scholars event, and vice versa. If you see an undergraduate research program event that you would like to attend, you could also attend one of them. It's just there are different requirements for each one, and you would also do research in the undergraduate research program in the URP.
Oh, yeah.
And the application apparently will be open sometime between February and March of next year.
Oh, okay. So I have to apply for the undergraduate.
Yes, the undergraduate research program is competitive. We, depending on how many students we have coming back and how much funding we have, we can admit anywhere between 15 to 20 students every year, or 20 to 25. It depends.
Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
One thing I want to point out is you can do research with faculty. Yeah, you don't need to be in the undergraduate research program. However, if you can in the undergraduate research program and then do research, that is better. So that's why one thing is you need to know is every student, okay, you can do research with faculty. As long as you can find a faculty, they accept they have position open, you can apply, you can do it. And then, but the undergraduate research program, Dr. G and Dr. Egado, they run, it's great. Yeah, you have a lot of successful story. I always encourage students to join, and then, but you just keep in your mind, is you don't need to join, you can still do research with faculty. But I will say it's good to join. Yeah, they did fantastic job. Student really get successfully enrolled into a PhD program, going to a professional school. And both of them, you can see they work very, very hard to help students out. And we are so lucky to have Debbie and Egado, department. Yeah, you will see. If you join, you will see how much work they do put in here. Okay, but any question, you can really come ask us, okay? Okay, any other questions? I know a lot of information, a lot of thinking, and then, but we have different stage. If you are in the sophomore year, you still have chance, and then just explore it to see what you want to do, because this is your career, your future. Yeah. And we want you to be successful, to make a lot of money. Yes. That's important. I always told my students, be successful, make a lot of money, donate to Department of Science.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, so with that, we officially conclude our event. Thank you so much, Dr. Concheiro-Guisan and Dr. Cheng. This was amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much.